Hey everyone!
Say hi, Bramble.
Hi, Bramble. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Jen.
Hey everybody, check out this really cool Zoom feature. Look, I'm under the sea. I'm drowning. Help!
Oh my gosh, Jason. Can we focus? So this is our first ever digital Changemakers, and it's also my first Changemakers as executive director. So I need everything to go really smoothly, okay? I hope everyone's wearing their party outfits.
Of course, don't worry, Michelle. We're gonna make sure this Changemakers party is out of this world.
Come on, Jason, I have a lot of stuff to do.
Fine. So we are going to kick off this event with a toast, because if we were really all together in person right now, you know we'd all be drinking Cecil Spritzers.
Or Jackson Jägermeister margaritas.
Just a piece of honest feedback, Michelle. I don't think that works as much as a Sesso Spritzer.
Everyone, can we please stay on track? I have a lot going on right now. Do you know how much work it takes to rate an RFP?
Can someone please unmute Luis? He looks like he's really struggling now.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that, Luis.
Why wouldn't you just call it a Michelle Margarita?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. I'm gonna write that down for next year. Thanks, Louise.
Oh my God.
Okay, sorry, everybody. Listen, we would be drinking and toasting together at an in-person Changemakers party, so why don't we just drink and toast together at a virtual one?
But if we're not making a Michelle-themed drink this year, what kind of pun-named drink are we going to make? Can you believe this is happening, Culotta?
I know what we should make, a painkiller.
Oh, yeah.
Great idea, Niala. We all could really use a painkiller.
Wait, but aren't painkillers a tropical cocktail? And isn't it December?
Oh, silly MJ. You know time doesn't mean anything anymore.
I don't think I know how to make a painkiller.
That's okay. We'll do it together. And we hope that everyone joining us from home will also feel free to make one or a drink of their choice.
Here we go. Everyone, get your glass. Now me, I like to start by salting the rim.
Oh, wait, I don't think I have any salt.
No problem. You can always just use the tears of a social worker instead of salt. There's plenty of that these days.
Ooh. Then we'll move on to the rum. Just a generous 2-ounce pour.
I honestly think we need 100% proof rum to make this drink really effective.
Yeah, but since we are the human services sector, you know we can only get 80%.
Now we're going to move on to adding some orange juice. And if you have Tropicana or something like that, you can just use that. But I like to use an actual orange so you can just really get some aggression out as you squeeze and juice it.
I find that it really helps to think about the federal government's lack of response while really wringing out the orange.
And now we're going to add coconut cream. But wait, what's coconut cream?
I don't know. We're going to need some guidance for a one-pager on that. Gloria?
Gloria, weren't you working on figuring out what coconut cream was?
Wait, I think that's just a picture of Gloria and not actually Gloria.
Huh, I kind of like that picture of Gloria.
Yeah, she seems really fun.
Okay, everyone, so we're losing focus again. Fortunately, Gloria added, what is coconut cream to the FAQs? And it is this. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass it around. Great, so that way everyone gets some. So even though there is a full can of it, much like CARES Act funding, we're gonna hold off on using the whole thing for some reason, even though we need it now.
Okay, and finally it's time for pineapple juice. Pour and stir.
Look, we did it.
Hey everyone, did I hear something about Sesso Spritzers? So good to see you all.
Hey, Allison.
Oh, get her out of here. Get her out of here. Oh, of course she's smiling. She got the hell out of here before the pandemic hit.
The picture of Gloria is smiling. She likes it.
We like you, picture of Gloria.
And we hope that all of you at Changemakers will join us in raising a glass, whatever you're drinking, and offer a toast to all the amazing organization and workers who are keeping New York safe during COVID-19. Cheers and welcome to Changemakers of New York.
Thank you to the HSC staff for showing us how to make this painkiller drink. I'm going to get to that in a minute, but first, I am Jeremy Kahumban, Chair of the Board of HSC. And on behalf of HSC and our amazing board, thank you for joining us tonight. And thank you for supporting HSC. I hope that you and your families are safe and well. This is not how we wanted to come together, but I am thankful that we have this opportunity to gather and to celebrate this important institution and each other. HSC's work to support nonprofits across the city has never been more essential. Over recent months, as nonprofits struggle to survive, HSC provided sage advice, desperately needed information, and critical support. We also took the frontline voices of the nonprofit community to the city and the state. HSC called for PPE long before it was on the city's agenda. HSC tackled issues critical to the nonprofit sector, from access to PPP loans to increased funding for youth serving and food distribution programs. HSC's amazing executive director, Michelle Jackson, led information and strategy calls. At first, Michelle did those daily, and over time, she shifted to weekly. For our nonprofit community, those calls were a lifeline and a source of inspiration during a very difficult time. Thank you, Michelle. The months ahead will be daunting for all of us. The nonprofit sector will not be exempt. HSC member organizations are best positioned to innovate, create, and propose the most appropriate solutions for the communities hit hardest by the pandemic, by systemic racism, and by the upcoming economic uncertainty. I want our amazing members, nonprofit organizations from all over New York, to please give a shout out to your organization in the chat to the right side of your screen. Let's celebrate you. Let's celebrate us and the remarkable work that we have done together in the face of this global pandemic. I also want to take a moment to thank the human services workforce. These essential workers who have been there for our organizations and our communities, providing food, mental health support, housing, eviction prevention, and so many of the services that communities needed most. Thank you. Without you, this work would not be possible. I am proud to serve as the chair of the board, and I want to thank my fellow board members for their service. And on the board's behalf, I congratulate our incredible honorees, Amalgamated Bank and Carver Bank. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your support of HSC. And a special thank to our top sponsors, Amalgamated Bank, Carver Bank, Citi, and Alliant. You've always been here for us. Thank you. Please sit back and relax with a drink of your choice. We have an exciting program ahead, wonderful honorees, and the premiere of the new HSC video. You want to see this one. And please stick around for the after party, which will directly follow this short program. Now, let me move on to our first Changemakers honoree. Each year, HSC hosts our Changemakers of New York benefit, where we honor those who have truly made a difference to our city's nonprofit sector. This year, our board agreed that the lenders who facilitated desperately needed PPP loans were the true change makers in our sector. Almost 8,000 community-based nonprofits received small loans. These were lifelines. They allowed us to maintain staff, pay our essential workers, pay rent, and to be there for our communities that were hit hardest by the pandemic. With these loans, we saved lives. I have the pleasure of introducing our first honoree, Amalgamated Bank. Amalgamated Bank facilitated PPP loans at a time when many nonprofits were worried about their financial outlook, and some were terrified. And these loans were a lifeline to those nonprofits. Amalgamated's dedication to the nonprofit community did not start during COVID. Amalgamated Bank was founded by a union of low-wage immigrants, primarily women who worked in New York City's government district. These women were not being served by the traditional financial institutions of the time. They built on that legacy over the last 100 years to serve labor unions, nonprofit institutions, foundations, and even political campaigns. Amalgamated has grown to include clients in 48 states. They serve many HSC members, and they are the HSC's bank too. Amalgamated Bank, thank you for being a true change maker. At a time when we needed you most, you were there for us, and you have saved many of us. You're an institution that is dedicated to all of us. And I can say from personal experience that Amalgamated's nonprofit services team is exceptionally dedicated, trustworthy, and truly deserving of this honor. Here to accept the award on behalf of Amalgamated Bank is one of those exceptional individuals, Maura Keeney, who serves as the first Vice President of Nonprofit Client Services. Welcome, Maura, and congratulations.
Thanks, Jeremy, and thanks to HSC for this recognition. It's heartwarming for Amalgamated Bank to receive this honor for our services and advocacy on behalf of nonprofit organizations. Since we aren't exactly a household name, let me introduce you to Amalgamated Bank. We were formed in 1923 by the Amalgamated Clothing Workers Union, a union of low-wage immigrant workers. We were basically formed as a service provider, just like many of you. And as that union and their members grew and changed, so did Amalgamated Bank. We're now a national financial institution with clients in 48 states that specializes in banking for, lending to, and managing investments for nonprofit organizations. We count among our clients HSC, Hudson Guild, Hamilton Madison House, and many, many others. We're proud to play a small role in their good work by being their bank and their partner. But today, we should really be recognizing all of you, HSC and the member organizations. HSC is one of those hidden gems of New York, not always visible to the public. They get under the hood of issues, really engage in advocacy, areas that are of critical importance to the nonprofit community. HSC is a lifeline to nonprofits in New York, and nonprofits in New York are a lifeline to at-risk, high-need New Yorkers. During this unprecedented time, you all came together to help people to remain in their homes, to make ends meet and keep food on the table when income suddenly disappeared, to support families healing from domestic violence, to make sure folks know where to go if they get sick, and to provide community to our seniors and our young people during this isolating time. Without HSC and without the amazing member organizations who provide these services, tens of thousands of New Yorkers would be less safe and less secure. HSC is there when the nonprofit community needs them and when vulnerable New Yorkers need them. And we are all so much better for their work and for all of your work. Thank you again for this and for allowing Amalgamated to partner with so many of you as your bank, lender, and investment manager. Happy New Year, happy holidays, cheers.
Thank you so much, Maura, and thank you, Amalgamated Bank, for being an honoree this evening. It's my pleasure to present our second Changemakers Award tonight to Carver Federal Savings Bank. Carver Bank was founded in 1948 to serve the African American community whose residents, businesses, and institutions were discriminated against and had only limited access to mainstream financial institutions. The bank's work helped fuel economic empowerment and promoted dignity for all people regardless of race. Since then, Carver has excelled in its mission, receiving a consistent, outstanding Community Reinvestment Act rating. To put this in perspective, only 17% of lenders attain an outstanding CRA rating nationwide. Carver is committed to reinvesting approximately 80 cents of every dollar deposited back into the communities it serves. Most recently, Carver has demonstrated exceptional leadership as a financial first responder during the COVID-19 health and economic crisis. They recognize the potential of the Payment Protection Program to save jobs, ensure the flow of funds to workers, and ensure the recovery and viability of the businesses that are essential. They also recognize that human services nonprofits are essential businesses. As of June of 2020, Carver has made over $35 million in PPP loans to 200 businesses and nonprofits in the greater NYC region, preserving 3,500 jobs. Like HSC, Carver has also been a strong advocate for the nonprofit sector in fighting for investment. In fact, Carver Bank CEO and President Michael Pugh testified before Congress in June, making recommendations to help PPP work better for our communities and bringing attention and recognition to the critical role nonprofits play in keeping the community empowered and thriving, both as employers and as service providers. Carver Bank's commitment to serving its community has always been a beacon of hope, including to nonprofits. I am proud to present the Changemakers honor to Carver Bank CEO and President, Mr. Michael Pugh. Thank you so much for all you do every day for New York's nonprofit community and for the families and individuals who have in turn been helped, especially in the face of this difficult time.
Thanks, Michelle. It's an honor to accept this award from the Human Services Council. For more than 72 years, Carver's mission has been centered on economic empowerment to all communities in greater New York City, with emphasis on building sustainable financial management resources for low to moderate income communities and people of color. Carver's commitment to women and minority business entrepreneurs has been something that all of our colleagues celebrate each day. In the height of this pandemic and the economic crisis, we have provided more than $35 million in small business loans and supported the preservation of more than 3,500 jobs in New York. We have reinvested in financial education for more than 15,000 people in the past few years. Also, we are proud to share that approximately 80 cents of every dollar on deposit is reinvested in the communities that we serve. HSC has been a leader in advocacy, public policy, and a voice for social impact programs to strengthen New York. As we navigate through one of the most challenging times globally and experience the residual impacts, our lives will be forever changed. It's imperative that a renewed focus on partnerships with nonprofit organizations, faith-based institutions, public and private sector, all working together for community development. It's comforting to know that organizations like HSC remain strong and focused on wellness for greater New York with a workforce of more than 200,000 committed people. Thanks for the work that you do, and thank you for recognizing Carver Bank as a friend and partner in the mission of improving the lives of others.
Thank you so much, Michael and Carver Bank. Now, last year, HSC debuted our video, The Funder, at our event, which has been a big hit with over 15,000 views so far. While everything's different this year, we still wanted to use humor as a way to tell the nonprofit story. So please enjoy this year's video, The Grinch. It's a wonderful, non-profitable Christmas.
We'll be back next week with our regularly scheduled program, Naked and Afraid, the nonprofit edition. No overhead, no clothes. And tonight, we're pleased to bring you a brand new holiday special, The Grinch, a non-profitable Christmas. Enjoy. 'Twas New Year's Day and all was well. 2020 would be a great year as far as he could tell. Our friend Mr. Grinch, with his heart now so big, was leaving Whoville for a brand new gig.
Where are you headed, Mr. Grinch? I'm headed to the Empire State to lead a nonprofit. Aw, that's swell, Mr. Grinch. 2019 has come and passed. Bring on 2020. I'm gonna kick some ass. Got my nonprofit going to do some good. Equity and inclusion in every neighborhood. For once in my life, I just won't think about me. Gonna serve you so good. Gonna change your family tree.
Well, we are almost through the year, and that's right, you guessed it. 2020 was not exactly what Mr. Grinch had expected. A global pandemic has brought even more need, with even more struggling families to feed.
Can you hear me? How about now?
I want to thank you for joining the Nonprofit Summit, sponsored by the Human Services Council of New York. I'm your moderator, Michael Mancandy. Today we have on the panel a representative from the nonprofit sector and representatives from state and local government.
Daddy, I'm bored.
Yes, baby, I know you're bored, but Daddy's working right now, so go finish your math assignment. Okay, sorry about that. Where were we? Yes, representing the nonprofit sector, former home invader turned nonprofit executive director, Mr. Grinch.
This year has been the worst. Seriously.
From the city, John Potter.
Hi, super happy to be here. FYI, I have a hard stop at 10:10.
That's in 5 minutes.
That's right.
All right. Vice President of External Affairs for the state.
I'm hungry.
Honey, I know you're hungry, but I am... Why is your brother wet? Excuse me.
Well, I'll just go ahead and introduce myself. I am Michelle Mendoza, and I am the VP of External Affairs for the state of New York. And on behalf of all the Cuomo sapiens in the world, I am happy to be here in this new normal. Come on, guys, we can get through this together. Let's make this event a super spreader of hope.
Yeah. Let's get this back on track. Although this is not a condition unique to New York, the nonprofit workforce has played a vital role during the pandemic. Mr. Grinch, how are things going out there?
How are things going? Man, we are feeding, sheltering, and providing services to more New Yorkers than ever. It took months to get PPE to our frontline workers after countless requests. Funding from the government has been delayed, renegotiated, or cut altogether. A few years ago, I wouldn't have cared about any of this, man. My heart was too small. But now, it's just too big.
Mr. Potter, how would you respond to this? Those gifts were for Christmas? I told you.
Santa Claus even real?
Santa Claus is real, baby. Don't cry. Oh, sorry.
Oh. Sorry, I'm just recovering from that hairstyle. Okay, the Empire State is anticipating a $14.5 billion deficit this year. Okay, we have to make cuts. In fact, we have to reevaluate every dollar, every contract, every promise we've made you, every relationship we've established. Love is like a battlefield.
Did you just quote Pat Benatar?
Sure did.
Look, we understand how unprecedented these times are. These are difficult times, uncertain times, new normal times. And we want all you nonprofit leaders to sit around our table, our thought tables, as thought leaders, because you are essential. With your boots on the ground and houses of hope, you all are the true heroes.
Y'all are gonna turn me into the old me. Christmas is coming. You know what I'm capable of. We need action, not just talk.
Okay, look, you were from Hoboken, right?
Whoville?
Right. Look, once upon a time you thought that if you took away all of people's stuff, that you'd rob them of their joy, right? Well, look, the nonprofit sector doesn't have what they thought they would. That's okay. What would Whoville do in this situation? You know what I mean? It's been fun.
So it is clear there are major gaps in funding. Mr. Potter, did we lose John?
I think he put in the chat that he was leaving so he could file his mayoral candidacy. Look, I think the problem here is that there is a perceived lack of empathy. I will tell you that my boyfriend and I arranged several Zoom happy hours where we went out on that very balcony and we clapped till our hands were numb. And let me also tell you that we are putting our money where our mouths are. Just in time for the holiday season, we have our new Cuomo Claus ugly sweaters. Let me show you my screen. Okay, so 80% of 10% of every dollar is going to eventually be divided in half to the nonprofits around the state. We'll be sending you RFPs shortly. We got them down to 100 pages.
It's not just about funding. It's about keeping your promise to the people that put our leaders in office. 1.6 million nonprofit jobs were lost across this country. And 2 million workers are now food insecure.
Child care providers are closing every week.
We are doing the work you are not trained to do. Many of our workforce live in the same communities they serve. And now, because you're only giving us 80% of what you promised, much of our workforce is in need of the same services they were providing. Damn it. I told myself not to cry.
I'd like to talk about funding now, if you're taking questions. Hi, I'm Harvey. I represent the funding community. My friends and family have been bridging the gap of funding for these social services for generations. And the gap just gets bigger. I mean, we've had a hard year too. Around this time last year, I decided to sell all of my stock in Zoom. I really thought concert venues and eat with your hands buffets were going to be all the rage this year. But I guess what I'm trying to say is this. How long are we going to continue to pick up the tab to address all of our community's problems? I mean, I have dreams too. I want to be able to get married and leave something to my great grandkids' kids someday.
He actually has a point.
Let me tell you this.
Sometimes we as a community have to help each other out. And the state is doing everything.
There is so much more to this story, so trending, but we only got 80% of the budget we were promised for the ending. It is time for a change in the nation. Every nonprofit leader, board member, and foundation, every worker, good doer, and who's who and the like, it is time to stand up, to unite, to make all that is wrong with government policies right. Here's the deal, these problems are real. And to show you how this story ends, we asked for a little help from our friends.
So I hope our Grinch met your expectations. When I thought of my first Changemakers event as executive director, this isn't exactly what I pictured. I thought there'd be more clapping and more cocktails, but I hope we were able to give you a few laughs and remind you of the amazing nonprofit community that keeps New York thriving. I really want to thank the HSC board for making tonight possible, particularly the Fund Development Committee and our tireless co-chairs, Karen Kasner and Margaret Crotty. The committee and the board really went the extra mile to make sure tonight was a success. I also want to thank the HSC staff, of course, for their work tonight, but like so many of you, they shifted their work overnight back in March and have really been game for anything we can think of, including Zoom cocktails. Jason Wu, who shifted all of our operations and made sure the staff could work remotely. Luis Saavedra, who kept all of our operations running. Jen Diamond, who shifted our website and pushed out so many communications. Gloria Kim, our COVID resource queen, who's done so many FAQs. MJ Okma, who's holding down our city advocacy and holding the city accountable. Gabby Andrade, who's organizing our members in new and interesting ways. And then Nayela Amaru, our new policy director, who is already up to her elbows in new initiatives. This year can't end soon enough, but there are some bright spots in 2020. This year, more than ever, I'm so humbled to be able to work for the human services sector. Every day you show up and fight. You transform lives and you speak up for those whose voices are ignored. During COVID, you put your organizations at risk to get people what they needed to stay home, stay safe, and stay alive. You have grappled with unimaginable problems, keeping residential facilities open, shifting services, and trying to keep our heroic workforce safe out in communities. I want to recognize the human services workforce, all of the frontline workers who deserve much more, who left their families to show up for our New York families. To all the workers who changed their jobs and put themselves at risk, I thank them and I thank you for saving lives. HSC will fight for you and we will fight for the sector. You deserve better. You deserve to be recognized for your work. You deserve to be paid for your work. And you deserve so much better than how government has treated you during COVID. HSC will keep up our COVID resources, our weekly calls, our ED roundtables. Our Human Services Recovery Task Force will put out a series of recommendations for change. We will engage city candidates for office, and we will fight, and we will make noise, and we will get you what you need. We will work to dismantle the racist systems that impact our communities and that keep policies in place that hinder your work. We won't tinker around the edges of a broken system anymore, but push our way to the table with new ways of doing things. HSC will work to harness the political power of the sector and will enjoy causing a little bit of trouble every step along the way. I am so honored to fight for you. I want to thank the HSC board for their amazing contributions and support, and for giving me the opportunity to lead this amazing institution. I also really want to thank Jeremy Cohoban, our board chair, for believing in me and for being a great partner in this effort. I'm so excited for the work ahead. I want to thank you all and thank all of our members for the transformative work you do for New York. If you want to hang around for our networking, those instructions are up next. Until then, here's to more transformation in 2021. So thanks for sticking around for the networking session. In a couple seconds, you can click the after party link, which is on the left side of your screen, and you can join one of the 5 breakout rooms that are being hosted by the HSC board members, who I really want to thank for agreeing to host. You'll click that after party link. It will show you the list of breakout rooms. You'll click join and you'll be taken to one of the rooms. We'll ask you to please turn on your microphone and webcam so that you can participate in the conversation. HSC staff will also be in each of the rooms in case there's any need for tech assistance. And the networking sessions will last for about 15 minutes, but they can go longer if you want to stick around. So thanks everyone. Go ahead and click that after party link now. And I look forward to seeing you in person next year.